What do you do as a teacher?
As a teacher, I teach health and physical education to kids who have some sort of learning disability, behavioral problems, physical disabilities. So I teach phys ed to kids who kind of wouldn't succeed in a regular high school. So they need that guidance, and I'm glad to be, this role model that can show these kids, no matter what situation you're in life, you can dream big, and it's important to keep dreaming big and kind of trying to accomplish your goals.
Okay, so you're a teacher and then a kickboxer. How do you manage?
I'm not going to make up any stories about the guy who comes in. He's the first person in here and unlocks the door and turns on the lights and trains by himself, and then he's the last person to leave at night. He's not that guy. Joe's very methodical. He has his training planned out ahead of time. At any time of the week, if somebody says, "Do you know what Joe's doing right now?" I could probably tell you. A high school teacher. He has to go in early in the morning, teach all day, and then when most people are going home after their long day at work and they're having dinner ready, Joe's just finishing up his second full-time job, which is training.
And at the end of the day, it's where I want to be. I want to be known as like a guy like Ernesto Hoost or Raymond Deckers, and I want to be known as the best kickboxer in the world.
Fighting is something you have in your blood, right? You're born with it or you're not. Not everybody can go in the ring and get hit. And he seems like it's a natural for him. So he saw what he was good at, he saw what his talent was, and he went and he pursued it.
Between Joseph Valtellini and Marc DeBonte. Valtellini from Canada, DeBonte from Belgium. Bazooka Joe, 11-2. He's 4-1 in his glory career. His only loss is to the #1 rookie, Nieky Holzken. 169.2 for Valtellini. His opponent, the reigning Glory World Welterweight Champion, Marc DeBonte. 87 wins, 11 losses, 1 draw. 169.6 for DeBonte. DeBonte, of course, picking up the belt just short of 2 months ago at Glory 16 Denver.
Nice, a lot of energy. Hopefully by fight day I'll put on at least 15, 20 pounds. I've just been focusing on myself, making sure that my weight's on point, making sure that my recovery right after the weigh-in is ready to go, and I don't really think about them. I've been thinking about this title, and that's the most important thing to think about. But I'm confident. When you're confident, you don't even think about it. Whatever it is, whatever he has to bring, I'm confident that I'm better. I'm confident that, I'll have that belt on my waist. So to me, it's not getting stressed out. It's about staying relaxed and doing my thing.
My heart's beating. Can't wait until tomorrow night, buddy.
Growing up, I had a few idols with fighting. One of them was Richard the Monkey Nanku. He was one of Canada's fighting pioneers. I got to spend a lot of time with him, and seeing him training at such an early age motivated me to get started in martial arts.
Lock your arms. Okay, ready? Yeah. Can I do it? Yeah, go.
Why did you go from Taekwondo to Muay Thai and continue?
I got my black belt when I was young. I was 10 years old when I got my black belt. And my instructor, Master Sullivan, always told me from the beginning of my career as a white belt, he goes, once you get your black belt, the journey doesn't stop there. A lot of people think a black belt is the end of the martial art, where it's actually just the beginning. I wanted to compete at an international level. My dream and goal was to become a professional athlete. At the same time, I was playing soccer, I was swimming, and when I went into university, I was playing football. I actually experimented with jiu-jitsu for about a year. And again, I loved the sport because it was a new martial art. It was something new. It was continuing my journey as a martial artist, but something was missing. I was missing that whole contact, that whole stand-up fighting that I was used to with Taekwondo. I was actually working at a cemetery, cutting grass in university. I was working at a cemetery doing grounds maintenance, flower beds, cutting grass, and while I was there, I met someone who was taking kickboxing at Ultimate Martial Arts, and he said, hey man, I know you did Taekwondo and Jiu-Jitsu, why don't you try kickboxing? And right away, as soon as I went to one class, I was hooked.
Joseph Valtellini, Joe, he came in as actually as a football punter. He was gunning actually to get into the CFL at the time.
He was born to be a champion.
He always had a good kick, so him going in Camptown and knocking out a lot of people with a high kick didn't surprise me.
Where I'm from in Canada, kickboxing and professional MMA, they always had a hard time getting sanctioning here. There was always that constant battle as an amateur of how am I going to get these professional fights. There was only one organization to fight for, and that organization was called Camptown.
Camptown, well, it was nice that, I believe it was early 2000s they started up, and it was nice that they were here, based in Ontario, and we had an organization that we were able to fight Muay Thai in for our amateur athletes. A lot of the time now, just for an amateur fight, we have to cross the border or leave the province.
I ended up having 7 fights amateur with Camtel. And the funny thing was, the first 6 fights that I had to wear a chest protector.
Let's go, baby. Let's go, baby.
The headgear, chest protector, big shin guards, big gloves. So it was really difficult to get that real Muay Thai kickboxing experience when you're wearing all this gear. Finally, my 7th fight, there was a big show that they had, and I was offered to fight a title fight. And this was for our provincial title, and I fought a guy who had a little more experience than me with no gear. So it was a big fight for me, and that was the first time I fought with no gear. I still had to wear headgear and elbow pads, but it was the first time I fought with no shin guards.
And by unanimous decision, the super middleweight champion is fighting out of the red corner, Ultimate Muay Thai, Joe
After that fight, that whole organization shut down, and there was no more amateur fights in Ontario at all.
The turnout was a little bit small, but we expected that. IKF just happened in Florida. TBA was in Iowa a few weeks ago, so I think everybody's kind of done traveling for their Muay Thai and stuff like that. But yeah, I think it went well. No injuries, no bad blood between any gyms. There is, unfortunately, a ton of politics. The legal system's been very difficult. It's only opened up recently, and there's still kind of loopholes. You know, one of those governing organizations kind of has a monopoly on things. So we have to run events like these to give our guys opportunities, more opportunities than they would be presented through sanctioning bodies alone.
Signed up to a tournament in Florida, the IKF World Classic Tournament. It was good because I was able to get 3 fights in a weekend. I ended up winning all 3 fights and winning their IKF Classic. Following that, again, came back to Ontario with no fights available. A kickboxing organization started up, so it was called CASK, and they had a K1 rules division, so still with gear. I actually took a fight anyways because I wanted to stay active, and ended up finding another good guy from Ontario and winning the CASK national title. That was it. That was 11 fights. I was emailing different pro promoters around the United States trying to get fights, and no one really replied or got back to me, and it was tough at that point. I'm only coming in and showing a record of 11-0, and a lot of people didn't want to give me that opportunity to fight pro.
That kind of a work ethic is extremely rare. You can't find that in just anyone. You can find a lot of people that can pick up skills or become extremely athletic, but to find that kind of heart in somebody is a once-in-a-lifetime kind of thing.
Connections, met some cool people who actually recommended me to an organization in New York called Friday Night Fights. So I had a friend of mine named Brian Avelino create a highlight tape for me, and Justin Blair from Friday Night Fights finally brought me in on one of his big shows where he had the two top guys in New York fighting in the main event, Sean Hines and Chris Romulo. And I was fighting on an undercard against a guy named Max Chen. I ended up winning that fight in the first round, TKO. I remember dropping Max with, it was a short right hand. The next fight, they offered me a huge fight in Dorian Price. And I remember just being kind of scared, being like, okay, I know I'm good, but this is Dorian Price. I remember seeing him on The Ultimate Fighter, and big guy, a lot of experience. And I think that was the fight that really gave me the focus and I want to say the belief in myself that I can fight all these guys with more experience. A fighter in the West Coast that kept saying how East Coast fighters are no good and how, you know, we don't fight real Muay Thai because New York at this time, no elbows were allowed, so they kept saying that they shouldn't be calling it Muay Thai, they should be calling it kickboxing, and so there was a lot of this online tension that was created about who was better, the East and the West Coast, and East Coast fighters are no good and they need to come and fight the West Coast, and I never really cared about the hype. I just thought it was a good opportunity at this point to jump on some big fights. Friday Night Fights brought in Sean Yarbrough for me, who was the 175 WBC champion, fought a lot in Vegas, never been finished, had a really good kickboxing record, a lot of pro Muay Thai experience, so he's been around for a while, and again, well over 20 fights, and who knows how many amateur these guys have, but well over 20 fights, never been finished. First time I'm fighting in a heavier weight. I wanted to represent Friday Night Fights in New York because it's where I was fighting, and that was the time where I knew that New York really took me in. Having that home crowd and the announcers and the hype up to the event was, everyone was pushing me as their hometown guy representing East Coast against the West Coast. That knockout actually was, I think, third on the Muay Thai Authority top 10 knockouts by a North American fighter ever. You know, that was my first experience where I felt really humbled and people were congratulating me and wanting to take pictures, and I was just like, man, I'm very humbled by this, you know, and I don't really want to let these people down.
All right, I'm going to go. My name's Corey Schaefer. Everybody okay without using the microphone? We good? Yeah. All right, great. I want to thank Lou Neglia, our local promoter. I'd like to thank Brian Crenshaw of WKA for their outstanding support of Glory. I know everybody shares in my excitement in being involved with what will become the biggest combat sports league in the world.
All of you should be considered winners. You're competing among the biggest events. You're the best of the best.
The world's elite kickboxer.
Spinning back fist, that rattled Gachi, and he is wobbled. Oh! Knocked down with that hit.
He won by KO, he goes to number 2. So he won by KO, he got number 2. He didn't know this. He thought, you know, he didn't know this, right? Now he's going to be in the Tokyo for December 21st, right? In the tournament with basically #1 ranked fighter is Nieky Holzken.
Going into the finals, we both would have fought before, and it comes down to who wants it more. I want it more. I want people to watch this sport and to be hooked. Raymond Daniels, you're standing in the way of my dream. Nothing personal, it's just business.
Punched his ticket to the final, stopping the previously undefeated Raymond the Real Deal Daniels in impressive fashion.
insane. They're just standing in front of each other, trading shots.
With the two best welterweights in the sport. For one, who is going to walk away with the welterweight tournament title? Holzken drops Valtellini, and that could be it right there.
Fight, people were really impressed with what Joe brought to the table. I mean, in a tournament, you have 2 fights in one night. There's a lot of variables. Holzken at that time was the best. He's the champ coming in against this new guy. Who's this guy? Yeah, he's pretty impressive. He's had some good fights, but now he's going up against some real guys. What's he gonna do? Holzken's gonna walk over him. Well, I think we saw in that tournament that no one's walking all over Bazooka Joe. And I think when they meet again, it's obviously going to be a little bit different. He took him to the wall, and what ended up was a fight of the year.
Do you ever feel like quitting?
Quitting, I think I've always had that mentality where no matter what, I'm going to stick through it. And one of the biggest things from a young age with me is I'm not a quitter. That's the last thing you can call me, is a quitter. I played on a soccer team, one soccer team my whole life. I played with East York my whole soccer career. I stuck with one Taekwondo gym. I played on one university football team, and I stuck with one kickboxing gym. So I'm a very loyal student. I respect my teachers and my masters, and kind of the last thing that I want to do is quit. And you know, my parents were always kind of very supportive of whatever I did, and I think that's what was important, and I didn't really want to let them down. I remember there was a day actually in my Taekwondo tournament, I think it was my second tournament I did, and I was 8 years old, and I didn't win, and I think it came my second place. I got disqualified for hitting the kid, and his nose started bleeding, and I got disqualified as a yellow belt. And you know, that was heartbreaking for me. Not only was it the situation where, yeah, I lost, but it was more of I let my parents down. And you know, I can't believe, you know, my dad paid this money and I lost, and I felt like I let him down and my parents down. So I really took it to heart, where I was like, you know what, I don't want to disappoint people. And I've always had that mentality, and with that loyalty and not wanting to let people down, it kind of really drove me. But again, in any time in life, there's times where in my head I've wanted to quit. And you know, it's the training, the work, the dieting, the cutting the weight, you know, the fact that it kind of takes away from your social life. You know, in my 20s, I lost a lot of my social life. You know, I couldn't go out drinking with friends, going to restaurants, and doing what a normal 20-year-old would do. Instead, I was focused on my career, and there's a lot of times where I felt, you know, especially when I wasn't able to get fights. I'm like, why am I doing this? I don't understand. I'm putting all this time, this effort, this dedication, the sweat, the blood, the tears, and nothing's coming out of it. So there was many times where I felt like quitting, but you know, I knew what I wanted to achieve, and you know, nothing would stop me.
One medium, half of milk, one female.
That's right.
$3.59, please.
Okay, thank you. So it's 9:30 here, just getting a coffee before training, and then heading about half an hour to Brampton, where my coach and training partners are. So this is the beginning of my day. Always need to start with a coffee. Although Muay Thai kickboxing is an individual sport, and I'm in that ring fighting by myself, it really takes a big team effort. I have a lot of people around me who are really supportive, and I couldn't do it without my training partners. My main training partner being Sheridan, who has been with me for the last 6-7 years every day. I have Marc Speciale, who's same thing with me every day. And there's a whole bunch of other group of guys that you know, are there sacrificing with me. They put their bodies on the line for me, and I'm going really hard on these guys. I don't take it easy on them, and they understand that in order for me to be my best, I have to go as hard as I can. And a lot of times their bodies are really sore, and you know, they're holding pads for me. They're taking a lot of punishment in sparring, but they're there for me, and they don't mind to go through that whole struggle and that whole, you know, punishment with me. And I can't thank these guys enough.
I pretty much train with him, I'd say, four times a week. It's hard. It's hard at times. You know what? He's at a different level. All right. And when he's getting ready for a fight, he really brings it. And basically, you gotta meet it. You can't just go half-ass. I find he comes 100% at you. You got to come 100% with him just to meet him at that point.
I got an amazing group of coaches. My coach, Paul Minhas, man, that guy's, to me, the best coach in the world.
It's right here, right? Like, let's say without the turn, okay? Show you the one without the turn. It comes right here, right? Okay? Now when you step, it comes here.
He's been with Gary Goodridge and Pride in K1, and he knows kickboxing better than anybody in the world today. Because my coach, day in and day out, is teaching me new things. He's putting me in situations where, although I will not be in them, I'm prepared for them. I'm confident in every aspect of my game, and I really have to thank my coach for preparing me for everything and putting me through situations where, you know, nothing is foreign territory, and I'm ready to win every exchange and every position that I'm in.
I believe he's going to be the best fighter in the world, and this is just another chance to show it. Every time you give him a chance, he'll show you. He shows me every day in the gym, 115% every time.
Working with Joe for 7 years now. Started, the first thing we started with him back in the day, get him strong. Everyone's on this new kick, oh, you got to be explosive, because everything in your fight's explosive, done within less than a tenth of a second. Absolutely true. But if you don't have any strength behind it, you're exploding nothing. It's like the difference between a cannon and like hitting someone with a feather duster. You're strong. Come on, come on, come on. Drive. Stay low. Stay low. 3-cone drill. Come on. He's laughing at you right now. He's laughing at you. Come on, he's laughing at you. Come on, 10. Come on. Last 30 seconds. It's your last 30 seconds. Come on. Drive, drive. 2. Let's go. 3. Come on. What are you going to hit him with? What are you going to hit him with? You sprint at him like that, he's going to hit you. You got to dig deep, man. Come on. What's left? What's left? You going to let the judges do it? Come on.
Fighting's a full-time job. Even if it's not what pays the bills, you still have to treat it like a full-time job. If you don't, then it'll treat you like a part-time job.
This is a point in my camp where it's very important where I got to stay really mentally focused. I've been dieting a lot to get my weight down, training really, really hard. So it's always finding that balance of making sure I don't overtrain and overburn myself right now. All right, so I just finished training session 1, and I'm here at Subway with the rest of my team here. They get to enjoy subs. Well, I have to pack my lunch. I have some chicken, quinoa, a little bit of beef strips, and some peppers. I really don't study much of my opponents. People evolve, they get better, things change. So the fighter you watch on tape isn't necessarily the fighter you're going to get come fight day.
You got to adapt, just like fighters evolve. Just like Joe was a completely different fighter when he started than what he is now. So he's had to evolve. If he was doing the exact same thing when he started, would he have the success? I don't think so. I think the fact that he's been able to adapt to his increase in competition has enabled him to be successful.
I like to think about it as, you know, it's my fight. I should dictate what happens.
He's ready to finish his opponent in many different ways. He has a lot of setups, a lot of strategy.
Sometimes I feel the strategy is not even needed. It unfolds perfectly. He goes in and exploits the weaknesses of his opponents. And if they think they don't have weaknesses, find something or create it for that day.
The world doesn't know what's coming. This is an athlete. This is not a fighter. I don't believe in guys who are street fighters. I believe in athletes. He could be good in any sport, but this is the sport he chose.
Kickboxing invaded the first Bank Center in Denver, Colorado to bring you an explosive heavyweight tournament and welterweight championship bout.
When Marc DeBonte won the title in Denver, we came right out on social media. Joe pushed him. Joe got all of the Team Bazooka, which is his followers. He put them all together and he got them to just scream at glory, saying, you know what, I want that next title shot. I deserve that title shot.
After that bell rang, it was kind of like my world kind of crashing under me. I thought the Cinderella story was here.
Valtellini's in trouble, but look at him firing back. Who is going to walk away with the welterweight tournament title? Holzken drops Valtellini.
5 seconds left. I can't believe, something can end that quickly. The dream to become a world champion keeps me motivated in the gym every day. I visualize, I've kind of thought about it over and over all day, all night, how it's going to feel when that belt goes around my waist.
Is on the line as champion Marc DeBonte clashes with Joe Valtellini. Valtellini is a strong and explosive fighter who uses powerful and precise low kicks to cripple his opponent. DeBonte was a decorated amateur who won the welterweight title at Glory 16. He hopes to disarm Bazooka Joe in his first title defense.
So Joe? I'll bring your gloves up to you, Joe. Perfect, thank you.
The welterweight championship is on the line as Marc DeBonte takes on Bazooka Joe Valtellini. Let's park our peepers backstage. Marc DeBonte competed in his 100th kickboxing fight. A 32% knockout ratio. He comes in off back-to-back wins over Lucien Uskni with a stunning first round knockout. A decision over Karapetian at Glory 16. Bazooka Joe Valtellini, a stunning 91% knockout ratio. 2 times he's fought elite competition, however, against Holzken and Gregory Choplin. He's been beaten both times. Hard-working, down-to-earth, approachable fighter who has won the support of fight fans all over the world. This should be an amazing matchup, Stephen, for the welterweight championship.
It's really going to be a great fight, but it's going to be about length versus crushing power by Valtellini, the powerhouse.
Okay, folks, we are ready. The welterweight strap on the line. Bazooka Joe, ready to go.
Good. Spin. Good. Very good. Spin, punch, punch. Good. Again. Ready? High kick. Good. Spin. Hey. Spin the round kick. Ready? Hey. Great. You say bye to everyone there? Yeah. Can I say bye now? Yeah.
That's right, you're his dad.
I am his dad.
Yeah, we met you in Chicago. We were out working at the same place you were.
I don't know how to try that.
is a battle for the Glory welterweight belt and brings one of Canada's best to challenge the champion in his first title defense, Joseph Valtellini and Marc DeBonte.
He said the title shot tonight was a dream come true. He's been waiting for this opportunity, and now he's only one step away. Joseph Valtellini, Bazooka Joe, 29 years old from Canada, a 4-1 record in Glory. He is the #2 ranked welterweight in the division.
Well, I gotta tell you, he's a fun fighter to watch as well as cerebral. You normally don't see a guy who's got an intelligent style and aggressive. He is the guy that can actually do that, and he is known as a bazooka because he likes blasting people out.
His opponent, a kickboxing technician who won the belt at Glory 16 Denver. Here is Marc DeBonte.
The Glory welterweight champion, Marc DeBonte, set to make his first title defense, 24 years old, with an unbelievable record of 87-11-1 at only 24 years old. Are you kidding me?
Again, guys are lifelong martial artists coming into Glory.
Here's the numbers for this welterweight title fight.
Well, definitely the height and reach advantage is going to favor DeBonte. What Bazooka Joe needs to do is come forward to take care of that.
Valtellini, 11-0 amateur record, 11 wins professionally, 10 by way of knockout. Do the math, 90% KO ratio. Combinations being thrown.
Beautiful sidestep, though. There's that boxing pedigree I was talking about. In the glory days of boxing, they didn't say you were a champion until you defended it. So I really believe that. DeBonte's got to show us that he's championship pedigree tonight.
Flying knee blocked by Joseph Valtellini.
It's very close rounds. This is a very well-matched fight.
Body shots from Joseph Valtellini. Flying knee and kick from DeBonte. Joseph Valtellini and Marc DeBonte battling out for the title. And here comes Valtellini. Flying knee blocked, though, from Valtellini. And big shot from Joseph Valtellini. Combination lands. Valtellini has DeBonte up against the ropes. Combination from DeBonte. And here comes Valtellini back. Oh, what a high kick from Joseph Valtellini. Puts DeBonte to the canvas.
He camouflaged it, and DeBonte expected low kick, and that's why he caught him. DeBonte is still dangerous. Both these guys got great hearts.
DeBonte went upstairs with that knee. Just missed the chin of Valtellini. DeBonte in some trouble, up against the ropes.
This is going to be the championship rounds. Who's got enough gas in not only the tank, but in the mindset to push it here?
And as soon as I came in the first round, I knew I was a stronger fighter. I started to establish the pace. I started keeping him on his heels. I felt in the second round was more dominant than the first round. So I was able to win that second round again, establishing a good pace, hitting him with, finishing him with good low kicks. In the third round, I kind of seen, I was going to the body a lot, and I kind of seen his hands dropping. I knew in that third round I had to go up top, and that's when I caught him with that beautiful high kick that dropped him.
And here comes Marc DeBonte. How tough is this guy? DeBonte pushing forward. Valtellini looking to end this fight. Big right, knee, and a counter from DeBonte. Gets outside.
But he just,
oh! Big shot there from Marc DeBonte. Floors Joseph Valtellini. What a shot.
I don't know how he got up, man. That was a vicious flying knee.
Lightning fast is Marc DeBonte. Blood on the face of Joseph Valtellini, the young Canadian.
And again, I thought the fight was over. I think that was the hardest I've ever hit anyone in my life. I knew he was a tough opponent. Going to the 4th round was just me again pushing the pace, trying to finish off what I did in the 3rd round, until I got caught with his knee. This round was just kind of, trying to survive that round. Right after that fight, I was kind of disappointed because, one, I wanted to win by knockout. I wanted to prove, I want to be that force that nobody wants to step in the ring with. I want, every time someone steps in the ring with me, I want them to be scared, to know that, Valtellini is going to come, he's going to fight his hardest, and he's going to drop you. And that's what I wanted. So I was kind of disappointed I didn't drop him in that 3rd round. I think it would have been a nice finish to have that nice high kick knockout and then take my belt home. But it just shows that I'm someone who never gives up. I'll fight from round 1 to round 5, no matter what the case is.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 5 championship rounds, we go to the judges' scorecard. And all 3 judges score the bout 47-46 for your winner by unanimous decision. And new Glory Welterweight Champion of the World,
controversial, but there is your new glory, World Welterweight Champion Joseph Valtellini.
It's freaking tough, man. Marc's tough. A lot tougher than I expected, and I know he's a great person, great fighter, and we put on a great fight, man. Like all the respect to him. It was a great fight, and I look forward to what's next in my career.
Yes.
Got a little fun out there, eh, Joey? I got him.
Sorry everyone, I know it didn't go the way that we planned, but first 5-round fight in a long time. I don't want to make any excuses. He can be a lot better, and that's my fault, not his. So I'll make sure that, and we'll make sure as a team, that next time he's ready for 5 rounds of Bazooka.
It's going nuts.
Come on, bro.
Let him have it. Let him have it. He's earned it.
A lot of people want things. And this is what I tell my kids, this is what I tell people who ask me for advice. It's like people, dream big and they want this and they say they want something, but you really have to believe. If you have a dream, it's never big enough, and no matter what you do, you have to do something every day to accomplish that goal.
Your hair's all messed up, buddy.
History, Joey.
Just the beginning, buddy. Hey, just the beginning. All right.
Are you upset because it doesn't fit properly?
No. We can fix that.
He'll gain some weight next week.
We can fix that.
Red World Championship in 14 fights.
Winning a world title was obviously my dream, and I'm happy to have accomplished this dream. But now that I have this world title, I want more. I want to dominate this welterweight division. I want people to know that every time I fight, that belt's going home with me. I want to be known as one of the best kickboxers of all time. I want to build a name, and I want to build the sport, especially here in North America. It's still new here in North America, and people are just starting to recognize the sport, starting to recognize its athletes, and now's the time that we got to keep pushing the sport, keep promoting it, get people watching. The more spectacular the fights are, the more people that are going to jump on and keep watching kickboxing. And I want to make kickboxing as big as the UFC, if not bigger one day. And I want to be the person known to have taken the sport to a new level here in North America. One of my dreams, besides winning that world title, is to fight for a world title here at home. As a professional, I've never gotten the chance to fight home in Toronto. Just the whole idea of having my friends and my family and all my supporters here at home and creating a crazy atmosphere would just, be something that I can't imagine. And so hopefully one day kickboxing becomes legal here and I could experience, that feeling that hometown fighters get to experience.
Involved in this combative sports in Canada, in Ontario for that matter, it's always been a challenge. In the past, finding good venues or good organizations that would take the sport up to a different level was always a challenge.
A lot of the sacrifice that I go through, and I'm sure a lot of the team goes through, is time away from home. I have a family, and we travel all over the world, from Panama to the States to Australia, everywhere. It takes time away from sometimes the people you love, and it's a juggling act to get the training in, work, and make sure the gym's okay while you're gone, and make sure everyone is okay before you leave, and it's really a time management thing.
Definitely travel's difficult. We got back from Iowa a few weeks ago, and that was, I think, an 18-hour bus ride. So, I have guys cutting weight on an 18-hour bus ride to Iowa. That makes it difficult for us, obviously. And I think as far as experience, it's more difficult for my guys because they don't have the same amount of active venues, the same amount of fights. A guy in Texas, there's probably 10 Muay Thai leagues going, he can jump between different leagues, and we're in Ontario, it's very difficult. So we were forced to kind of travel, often really great distances to get a legit match.
So my father started putting on his own events. He did, I think, 7 or 8 for me, and I was always the feature fighting for a world title. We flew in people from Australia, Romania, all across the world. So I had that benefit, but once I turned pro, it became illegal, and then I had to start looking for events outside of the country, and that, as all Canadians know, is very difficult. I get to fight, if I'm lucky, before I signed with Glory, if I was lucky, I got 1 fight a year.
Okay. Yeah, I think if we had a pro Muay Thai league here, it would be great. We have, now there is an amateur kickboxing associations, a few of them out there, and after that, a lot of the guys that have 20 fights in these associations, again, have to go outside of our province to have pro fights. And I think there's good grounds for arguing a pro Muay Thai league, given that there's pro Muay Thai pro MMA in Ontario. Some of these rules and regulations could be derived from that and put on paper, made adjustments, and hopefully, one day we will. And there's enough talent, I think, out there in the amateur circuit alone to fuel a pro league.
I don't understand why we don't legalize it. We have MMA in a number of cities. We have boxing. Kickboxing is no more dangerous, I wouldn't say, and there's lots of fans who love it. I see nothing but a beneficial aspect for all of Canada.
It would be nice to see it in the professional ranks. I really don't understand why they don't legalize it, since MMA as a professional sport is already legalized. There's a lot of red tape you have to go through to get there, but kickboxing, if it were made more available, definitely would inspire more people to compete in it, especially on a professional level, and we definitely have the talent here. And it could also lead to much more revenue making for the city itself. People be coming in from everywhere, just the same way we go to places like Alberta, to the States. We could definitely expect that here as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Ontario, specifically the GTA, has such a wealth. I mean, I could sit here for 10 minutes and name you unreal Muay Thai instructors. Guys who've trained in Thailand, guys who've devoted their whole lives, guys who've had hundreds of fights. So we have the expertise, we have the knowledge, we have the infrastructure. I think it's an archaic, old law, and like I said, there's a lot of politics allowing who's able to get sanctioned and who's not. And it really, at the end of the day, it's stifling the sport. It's stifling our guys. It makes it difficult for them to get seen on an international stage, and it's a pity. It's kind of sad.